Alright, so I haven't really streamed in a while. This is a late Sunday night stream, so I don't really expect anyone to be here, which is fine. I know people probably have to go to work in the morning, and this is sort of random. I don't have a regular schedule of when I stream, but if people do come through, if there are some late night heads rolling through, uh, say hello in the chat, and maybe we can talk. But in the meantime, I'm playing No Man's Sky. Like I said, it's a late Sunday night, so I don't really feel like being totally involved in any really focused game. I just want to chill out. I'm still trying to get to the center of the galaxy. I did it one time already, or at least I think. I completed the story mode in this game, but I haven't really gotten to the center. I've had this game since 2016, and yeah, never made it to the center just yet. You know, all these games that have come out that I've been playing, and you know, dealing with the typical Madden stuff, you know, podcasting with a couple of friends of mine over at First and Frame Rates, of course. And obviously I didn't do a proper intro, but I don't necessarily believe in a proper intro. You know, I'm like, you're already here, you kind of know who I am, kind of, not really, but kind of. So anyway, so the podcast is usually available. We go live Thursday evenings from. We don't have a range time, but we start at 7:30 when we typically go live. Now this week, for those that are either, which I already know there's nobody else watching the stream right now, but if you tune in, if you are watching this video archive, it looks like we are going to go live on Wednesday, because it's Thursday, it's 4th of July, and we'd be some bums if we do a podcast on the 4th of July, no matter how you personally feel about the holiday itself. You know, you do have people that are like, fuck the 4th of July because of everything that's gone on in this country. And to tell you the truth, when I think about the fact that I have been a part of the First and Frame Rates podcast, I also look at the fact that in some ways I need to do more content on my channel. Not necessarily uploaded, edited videos or unedited videos. I think I've put out at least 4 or 5 videos this year thus far, and modest views, but if I was a person that really wanted to get the views up, I probably could. I just had to talk to some connections here and there, but I feel like I need to do more streaming. Obviously I'd be late to the game once again because everyone's streaming. You got people streaming podcasts, you have people streaming gameplay, you have people doing all sorts of things streaming wise, and I need to go to Twitch. I need to go back. It's funny because when the PS4 first came out, I originally was streaming on Twitch. That's when I was doing my 2K15 series, but I think the last thing I streamed on Twitch was Live 15 maybe. So I definitely need to get back into that. Now, let's see. Do I want to do the Atlas path? Or do I just want to get things done and just get to the center and complete this whole story? So I had to progress to the galactic core. Now, do one of these things where, since this is the first time I streamed this in a while, we are going to do a tour or such. So let's start out by checking out my ship here. Not just my starship, but also my freighter. So there's my companion freighter right there. Fly around it real quick. Now, I am patiently waiting for Beyond to come out. When Beyond comes out, now I don't have the VR headset to do this, but this game definitely would be awesome to have the VR headset once that update arrives. Now, alright, so there's my freighter. As you see, these freighters are large in size, so when you come across these in this game, you'll have like other alien ships fly in. But once you get one of these, it's actually pretty cool to have. So hello to the person that just joined us. So if you want to pop in, just say hi. I'm actually doing like a little chill session, pop-up stream. So if you pop in for a second, just say hi. And then nope, we're not doing that. I'm changing my view so you guys can see the ship that I currently have. So this is my spaceship. If I were to so that's what it looks like. Stats on it thus far. It's a Class C ship that I've taken the time to just build up. Haven't really done the whole search for other class, like the higher tier ships. I actually want to get some technology installed onto the ship. I called it the Blue Falcon. That's one of the neat little names I gave my ship. Oh, also I gave my gun a name. Oh, what's going on? Alright, I was outside too long. Oh, so good. You guys get to see a fight right away. Alright, which way you guys are coming from? Alright, here we go. So first fight. Alright, speed away, speed away. Alright, yeah, let me, so I can gain. Good, reinforcements coming in, they did. Now, are they coming after me, or that'd be insane if they're coming after me. Protect your cargo ship. Okay. Alright. See, this is why I hate this view right here. Even though there we go, first pass. So it's 3 ships. So that's my ship from the outside attacking. I'm actually getting mopped up in this fight. That's a first. Alright. Flying in circle. Alright, let's go. Yeah, they're more powerful than I thought. I am getting mopped up here. And where's my reinforcements? Alright. I need to speed away or do something so I'm not taking any more hits. Alright. They're behind me. So not for long. I'm like reminded of Star Wars flying into an asteroid field and they're gonna have to fly around it. If they shoot, they're gonna hit the asteroids. I'm just trying to recharge while they chase me. These are more powerful ships than what I have, so nope, can't go anywhere. Alright. Yeah, they're behind me and they're still firing and trying to... Nope. God damn. Nope. Go, 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 go. I'm like, damn, can I get some help? Alright. Alright, there we go. Now we're on the attack. Alright. See, I can get them. I'm behind them, but this is gonna be a long, drawn out fight. Yeah, it's time. Trying to do the shake 'em method. Talk about flying by wire. I'm just trying to regain my shields for another pass. Okay, I can't take another. Oh, there we go. All right, see if we can get him on this pass. Nope, that's a different one. Ooh. Nope. Shield was down, now it's back up. Damn. Okay, I'm not getting anywhere with this. So I need to find a way to shake them. I need to get to there. How long is that? Okay, that's a minute away. Man, this is a fight I did not intend to do. Alright, they're behind me. Good, out of range. Yeah, one thing they do say, if you are not prepared for the fight, there's nothing wrong with running away. I was not going to win that fight the way that was going, so I'm glad that fight is over. There was no way I was going to win that fight. Alright, so let me fly in here, because I need to regather. I need to regain my bearing. See, that's a situation where you need a class superior or class A or any type of a better ship than what I currently have. Apparently I was doing well against the regular pirates, but against these other pirates that was not going to work. But you've seen some evasive type flying there. That was definitely, that caught me off guard. So alright, so what was I planning on doing? Well, first, I actually need to repair some stuff, so I need to figure out what I need to get. So, I need cadmium. Well, see, that's another reason my shields weren't holding, because of this damage right here. And then I didn't have the effect that I normally had because these two are damaged. So that's just telling me I need to get these repaired, and let me get rid of that. So I need to get sodium and chromatic metal, and I need cadmium to repair that, because I definitely could have done more damage if that was repaired. I definitely would have been able to withstand a lot more if my shields were up to snuff, but it wasn't. Because I repair this, my damage potential goes up to above 800 something, and I repair this, my shield absorption goes up, I think, above 2. I guess that's alright. So let me check out this place to see if I can at least get some sodium and chromatic metal. I just need those two. See what's going on here. Good. There's sodium. Get a little bit there. At least have 100. Always make sure I get 100. It's just okay. There we go. Okay. Do we have any chromatic metal that we can get? Nope. So now I need chromatic metal. So that would consist of copper that I can... Do I have any copper on me? No, I don't. So I need to... Oh, you know what? Oh, there's no there's no copper there either. I thought I did. Could have sworn up and down I did. Guess not. Hold up. Oh, I need that for my ship. That's right. Okay. I see. Alright, so I need to go on a planet that has copper so I can get some chromatic metal. But I also need to go to a system for cadmium so I can repair. But I need my shields first, so I can take care of that right out the gate. Let's see. Alright, so we're gonna get to a planet and we're gonna farm some copper or whatever to get. There's copper there, so it's an empty planet. There's anything here. Yes. Like I said, it's empty, but I gotta find copper deposits. Ah, here we go. Found one. Alright, so we're just gonna land right here. I had this tune stuck in my head from Halo ODST. So if you hear me whistle that a little bit, that's okay. I'm losing my focus here, but yeah, you'll hear that from time to time. That was like one of my favorite Halos was ODST. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. I mess with this terrain manipulator. Ooh, probably shouldn't have done that. I'm thinking I should do permadeath and stream that, because normal, the difficulty levels that they have normal, they have survival, and then there's permadeath. Permadeath is self-explanatory. I think I should do a permadeath stream series. Hopefully it turns into a series. And I think the goal of permadeath, do I want to just make it to the center and just live out my days on permadeath and not worry about the story, or am I going to... Oh yeah, there's no... Wow. There's no atmosphere, pretty much, because look, that's how much I can jump. So there's definitely nothing here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a permadeath stream. And I'm going to do it on Twitch instead of doing it on YouTube, because if, you know, another thing that's popped up is that what is it? I think we may have to move our podcast, because you won't be able to do a Google Hangouts because they're getting rid of it. So we'll come up with some type of solution between myself, VF, and Bills. We'll come up with some type of solution for that, and will let everybody know either through Twitter or through this week's stream. I mean, podcast or whenever we come up with a decision. Trying to figure out. Okay. Oh yeah, I need to lay out my. Nope. Need this. There we go. I have no. Oh, that's right. Condensed carbon is a. I just realized condensed carbon also works. So, but I need to do it away from there, because one thing I hate about when you're farming resources is that these sentinels, if you're nearby, they will come and investigate. But if you're a distance away and you farm from a distance, like if you do the Steph Curry method of farming, you're safe. But if you do the Shaquille O'Neal method of farming, they'll investigate like right away. So I need to there we go. That's what I needed. Now I need copper to go into here. Yeah, because I need my shields. Because that was a fight that that fight that happened earlier. That's a fight that I normally win. I know how to what the hell? Oh heck no! I'm not going near that egg. Screw that. Last time the last playthrough I played earlier, not today, but on a different day. I opened one of these eggs. This right here. Opened this and like 4 powerful creatures popped up. There was no way I was gonna be able to fight them with the weapon I had. So I had to duck out. Just trying to see if I can get. Okay, we're done here. All right, good. And that's where we need it. So we are. Okay, so the shield absorption didn't change, but with these now working, we're good to go there. Now I just need to go to a system that has cadmium, and it should be good to go there too. Let's see. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to head to a system. And it's one of the red star systems I got to go to. Hold up. Let me check my cargo. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to... I need to adjust. That. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's go to my. Freighter. And it's taking me to this. I just need to get to my freighter. I don't need to get to the space station. is still on lockdown? Like I can't... I won't be able to enter my freighter? Wow. It's still on lockdown for some reason. Is there still a fight going on here? Let's see. Oh, those are ships going into... But yeah, my freighter is still under lockdown. I don't know why. Kind of messed up there. All right, so we're not doing. So I need to find a red star planet. I mean, system. Okay, so you can't tell from here, but here you can kind of tell. Alright, so there we go. There's one right here. This big star right here, this about. So that has about, let's see, let me read this. So this has 3 planets, and the one planet has 2 moons. Huh. It's interesting. Alright, let's go here. I think I'm going to have to figure out when's a good time to stream. Will people be able to come in and hang out for a bit? Hit us. So that looks like, see, there it is. Okay, so this is first. I think those are the 2 moons right there. Yep. Cadmium there's Pyrite. There's the second moon. That's the outer moon. Okay, so that one's, yep. Accurate planet, rocky moon. That should be a planet that oh god, I am literally in the rings of one planet, this planet. What's on here? Foaming planet, cadmium, gold, sodium. I just need cadmium, so let's go here. Oh, Mirror Station, that's so. Let's fly away. We just need to get some distance. So we're flying into the dark side of the planet. So it's nighttime at this portion. Burnic Beta. Oh, what the hell? That's weird. It's like tiny disturbances on this. They're like bubbles. Alright, so I need to find a good place to land. And what is it with these bubbles? Alright. Fly low. This is pretty cool. Look at it. Look at these bubbles. Landed on a planet. This is nothing but bubbles. Alright. Boundary failing anomaly strength. Let's go ahead and there we go. Internal rain. Alright, it looks like I'm fine here. Just trying to figure out what's going on here. So I'm on a planet that has bubbles protruding from the surface. This is weird. It's very weird. Alright. What the heck is that? So they have large bubbles and these small bubbles, but I'm trying to find some cadmium. Hold up. Just to make sure that I'm not accosted by anything. Alright. Now, cadmium usually is found. Let me go to my guide and check for raw materials. It is. To create purified core metal for use in manufacturing. Still materials ends up forming deposits in the crust of local planets. Okay. Alright. This carbon, ferret dust, or ferret dust, or whatever, however somebody wants to call it. Hold up, let me turn the flashlight on. It is nighttime here. No, nothing here. Funny, it's like the one thing I need to find. It'll take a little bit to get to it. There we go. A little hop. Sodium rich plant. Let me just grab all this. I remember the previous version of this game. It made it very simple what your basic elements you always wanted to collect. You never wanted to be without certain elements. Okay. But carbon's one of them. Carbon, oxygen, ferret dust is another. Okay, I'm full here, so I need to. Do I got extra space in my? No, I don't. Okay. Okay, I can send it to my ship. Ah, it's out of range. Okay, you know what? Sun gonna come out. About to be sunny here in a... No, that's just... Damn. Lighting. Oh, that's right. I forgot cadmium is something I need my terrain manipulator for. That's sodium. gold deposit. I literally will have to fly to different landing spots to spot to see where I can find some cadmium, because it's actually a deposit. Bubble cluster right over there. Okay, sodium, gold, bubble cluster. I'm just going to investigate, see if what's the deal with the bubble clusters. Do they mean anything? Right. So if I'm in a bubble cluster, okay. Maybe next time I should make sure I have room in the inventory available before I pick up my next bubble cluster. What's this over here? Humming egg. I'm not touching any type of eggs. They can chill for all that. I'm not picking up any type of eggs. I don't know what type of creatures are down here. Alright. So let's do this. See, I definitely need to use one of those. That last fight. Let's just send it to... Yeah. Send it there. Alright, so where's the next? Oh. See what that gives me when I collect one of these. Okay. Oh wow, look. See when the light, all of a sudden now it's sunny and the bubbles change colors because of the light reflection and stuff like that. It's just some natural things that happen. Bubbles look nice though. Alright, is there another? No. A rare stabilized glitch retrieved from a malfunctioning planet, safe for rehousing and have for building. So I don't know what I would need these for, but let me see. Do I? It'd be nice to get something that's carbon. I think it's always best whenever you have a chance to get some condensed carbon to get it. Way over there. Alright, I need to look for... Nope. I got oxygen. Nope. Alright. This is weird. For the time I've had this game and as many updates as this game has had, this is the first time I've come across a planet that's nothing but bubbles. Well, I mean, not nothing but bubbles, but the environment is bubbly. Huh, what's down here? Is this a cave entrance? See something real quick. There's nothing down here. Thought it was going to be something down here to really pull from, but there's nothing. There really is no resource, no nothing. Alright, a ship that way. Alright, let's get this. Alright, so we gotta look for some cadmium. What? It's actual... And apparently there's... That's an actual sentient being, animal. Kind of looks, kind of reminds me of a jellyfish. Oh, there's another one over here. Oh, there's a and a little one. That's Okay, now I guess they come out during the day because they definitely weren't out at night. All right. Focus, focus. All right. Find the cadmium deposit. That's gold. Cadmium's in red. So, oh, there we go. Found it. All right, let's land. Yep, this is exactly what I needed. Oh, that's right. That wouldn't make sense. So let's put one of these down, and then we'll also put one of these down too. I don't know why it's doing all this extra stuff. So put that there. Add some fuel to it. Use carbon there and that right there. Okay. Oh, and there's 2 deposits. Good. That's good to know. Oh, what the heck am I doing? First thing I want to do, turn it, so that'll give me 5. There we go. Needed that. Hey, what's up? Put them in the game. Yeah, I am here chilling, just playing a game that I don't have to put that much thought into. It's a Sunday night, so don't know if anybody was gonna roll through. So I do appreciate that you're here. So let me just sit back, relax, and just enjoy a game that I've put many hours into total, but in this save I put over 40 hours. It's one of the games that I kind of bring up every now and then, just as a reminder that I've invested more hours into this game than I do the Madden football game. So, alright, I need to, there we go. So, I need to, add the terrain manipulator? Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to repair my guns on my ship. That's my ship over there. You know what's funny? I actually do have Sniper Elite 4. That's another game I need to play. Because I remember on my channel I recorded footage and uploaded video on the previous Sniper Elite. I think I did what was it, Sniper Elite 3? Is it in the download stage or is it in the You said install, so it should already be downloaded. So it would no longer be your internet. It would definitely be the hard drive at this point on your Xbox. It's making it hard to install. Oh God! All right, that's depleted. All right. Now, do I have enough to recharge my shields? Oh, okay, yeah. So, do you have Comcast or Fios? Because not that it matters. You can have either one. I know Comcast has shitty ass customer service, but at the end of the day, it really does depend on your internet speed. Alright, where? There we go. Alright, so I need more. So it's another deposit over there I can pull from there. Alright, where we at? We there? Nope. So 6 more. 6 more. Alright, almost there. So just gotta get this spot right here. Right here. Alright. Should be good. My ship should be good to go after I make this repair. Boom! There we go. Well, I don't know. I usually don't go into specs as far as like why the PS4 or the Xbox, which one takes longer. I don't know. I would think because if you have, do you have the One X or do you have the Pro? Oh wait a minute. Do you have the Xbox One X and the Pro, or do you just have the base for both of them? See, that's what I meant. I repaired my guns, and my damage potential went up by 100. That would have helped me in that fight earlier. I would have definitely taken 3. Normally, I can take out 3 fighters with nothing. So, kind of mad at that. Alright. Oh, yeah, the base for both. Oh, then I don't know. That's a mystery to me. Why a game would take so long to download. I mean, it would be the internet speed since it's downloading from the store. It could be let me see, since it is Microsoft. Well, PS4 kind of does that too. I think it's sometimes the servers on the stores are whatever, or booty or whatever. Trying to see. Alright, so I pretty much have accomplished what I set forth to do. I just wanted to repair my shields and my my weapon system on my ship. Kind of handicapped against 3 fighters that normally I would have taken out in seconds. Now, I'm just trying to see if there's anything I could possibly condense. Nope, doesn't look like it's giving me anything to condense. Let me see, anything. Oh yeah, that's right. Platinum is also another form I could reduce in the nanites. It's funny that you can reduce pugnum. The resources you can use to get nanite clusters is pugnum and platinum to produce nanite clusters. And nanite clusters have produced many of the upgrades that I could get, upgrades that I have, and some of the upgrades that I bought that I can instantly install onto my either suit or the weapon. Megabytes per second. Again, like 900 megabytes download. That's megabytes, not megabits, not megabytes. Oh, okay, megabits. Yeah, because I remember a few, what was it, a few podcasts ago, VF was having trouble with the wording, not necessarily megabits or megabytes, but just he was saying something else that I didn't think was what it was saying, but I let him go because sometimes, honestly, okay. I know we tend to roast VF whenever he goes to read something. I think he picked up that habit from Broken Games HD because I remember watching the Weapon Wheel podcast. Now I still watch it, but I don't watch it as much because my favorite person to follow it does his own podcast now, and that's AGS. But they used to roast BG all. They probably still do. He's reminded of it not as much because the person that would remind him the most, like I said, does his own podcast. That's like 90 megabytes per second. Yeah. Okay. So basically, the conversion is for every 10 megabit. Yep. Every 10 megabits is a megabyte. That's the conversion. Okay. It's just like with you know um, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, stuff like that. The conversion is always you get to 1,000 of whatever. Like what is it? Megabytes. You get to like 0.1, and all of a sudden you're in the gigabyte territory. I'm like, it just depends on how the numbers formatted. But let's see. Is there anything on the ship that okay, I was looking at that. Yep, I think that's it. Alright, and let me see if there's anything nearby. Where is, okay, I was supposed to before. Yeah, he does. He tends to. And it's funny. I've watched. The first time I started watching Broken Games was when he did the Drive Club. He did the Drive Club video because at that time I was really obsessed over the dynamic weather that appeared in that game, and his video popped up. And it was a video where he was driving at night and it was snowing, so he was taking note of how you really couldn't see while driving in the snow at night, which is realistic if you have, let's see, especially with those headlights. Now the funny thing about Drive Club, I wish they would have given you the ability to do low beams, because that's pretty much what you would use in a situation where it's snowing heavily. Use low beams. But as far as the podcast, yeah, he does set himself up for a lot of roasts. And I think recently, right now, what's been going on, I'm like, I kind of hate what's been going on in the gaming community that I tend to follow. Apparently, I'm like, it's called the crumb side community. Like, I just feel like there are a lot of unnecessary beefs that go on in that community. I think the most unnecessary is between BG and Hard 8. I think them two really. I'm like, from the fact that I've watched them both. I watched Hard 8 for a lot longer. First time I ran into a Hard 8 video was the Elite 11 debacle, in which he's coined as the Elite Killer, NBA Elite Killer. That was the first video I've watched of Hard 8, and I've been a fan ever since. I'm not as much of a fan of BG as I was Hard 8. I'm kind of less of a fan of BG now because just following along, I just don't like. I feel there's a bit of hypocrisy when it comes to BG, because there are some things that, when you go back and look at it, yeah, the Jesus Bynum glitch, that's what it was. There are some things that not that it doesn't add up when you know that there are other, like specifically the whole, okay, when he got voted off, what was it, last year, when he got voted off, when Harder got voted off of Weapon Wheel podcast, and how the fact that he was voted off, not worried about the details of who voted for what, that I can care, that to me that part is irrelevant. The fact that everybody has done something to the point where they should have been kicked off, and the only person that was voted off was Hard 8. I don't recall them being a vote or a potential for Black Bond to get kicked off, Kid Smooth to get kicked off. I'm trying to figure out who else. Jack Move Johnny potentially could have been kicked off. I mean, all these people could have been kicked off for things they've said. Jimmy definitely should. I'm not gonna say definitely. He potentially should have been kicked off because of the whole botting thing. And then of course, and obviously BG's not gonna kick himself off the podcast. You see how many times he's been banned off of Twitter and stuff like that. So all of them have done a lot of things to get themselves kicked off, removed, whatever, and to single out one person is kind of that doesn't add up to me. It never did add up at the time. Like I said, following the whole thing. I think some of these people don't even realize that there are people who are paying attention and watching the whole thing from afar. I'm watching from afar because there's only a couple that I've actually interacted with that are in that community. But just watching it from a distance, it's just like, damn, all them motherfuckers could have been removed from the podcast at some point in time. No discretion. I think the two. No, actually, no. All their stuff was equally egregious. So that whole thing didn't make any sense. Well, that's true. Hard 8 is going to be Hard 8. I'm like, I like it. Honestly, I like his brand entertainment. That's the. You know, it's funny because when I look at First and Frame Rates, and just give you a little bit of insight. A lot of times I take in mind that, you know, we're talking about sports, we're talking about video gaming. I try to put a spin that's entertaining. Now, to be entertaining in a podcast is kind of, I'll let you know, it's not something I feel I'm good at. I feel like that's not something I specialize in, but I do it because I'm not just, I just don't, when I'm doing that podcast, I'm not just thinking about myself, I'm not just thinking about VF and Bills and we're just talking and whatever flows. I also keep in mind who's watching. I also keep in mind potentially who could be watching. They come across the podcast. You know, you have 3 distinct personalities and that's another thing. Along with not being naturally good at entertaining. Yeah, that, you know what, that is true because the root audience, see, here's the thing. Our core audience is going to be from the Madden community or the Sim community. That's our core audience. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Our core audience is the Sim football community. Always has, always will be. Here's the thing that in any category in life that you know folks tend to struggle with. People who make video games, video game companies, music, hell, even in the political game, is that how do you expand to attract, not how do you expand, at what cost do you want to expand your audience? Oh yeah, it definitely is a marketing thing. It's like um, at what cost? Because I feel like if I look at a game like Madden, it definitely sacrifices hardcore audience to do what it has done over the last 10, almost 15 years. It's definitely sacrifices hardcore audience. And a lot of games have. Battlefield definitely has sacrificed its hardcore fans to reach a broader audience. 2K is doing that too. Everybody's done it in some form or fashion, and it's just the way trends go when you're talking about marketing. But at some point, you have to come back. You have to, come back to your core audience. So back to the whole entertainment aspect of it, I feel like I'm the least likely to be entertaining. And it's funny because some of the things, yeah, to be consistent is like number one. Be consistent. And also another thing is that in being consistent, you also have to be mindful of not being overly repetitive, especially with topics, and especially with, you know, views and opinions. That's why, I don't look down upon others that make repetitive content. That's your niche. That's your niche. I'm like, no one's above these jokes, but then at the same time, it's one of those things where I've not really been in a situation where I've repeatedly done something and been happy and satisfied with it. I've always wanted a variety. Like when it comes to sports, I'm not just football. I've played baseball, basketball. I'm into hockey. Hockey, you hear me talk about a lot more than the other two sports. I like soccer. I like to watch soccer. I just have a variety of things, so I don't feel like I'm stuck. Where I grew up, a variety of sports, lots of activities. That's what I'm accustomed to. So when I see folks, when it comes, and this is something that I've preached from the start, and put them in the game. You've been there from the very beginning. You've always, you roasted, you will roast me about this, but the reason why I was on the fence, because when it came to like the state of video games and certain yeah, it is sarcastic. I will admit that, because it's just like everybody has their own form of humor between the three of us, and and it's funny. I feel like I am the third wheel. I'm like, when I think I joined First in Frame Rates by episode 22. I think 22 or something like that. And you know, it, I feel like I fit in nicely with them too, but I also know that I'm complimentary to them too. Because those, to me, those two are the primary. I've never looked to come in and take over. There are moments where I feel like I'll step it up so that people don't get bored, and I mainly talk about the audience, because when we're talking like some of the funniest stuff that has popped up definitely has been organic. you know, Looking at VF, like listening to VF try to read something is hilarious almost every single time. That's a running joke. That's gonna always be there. And then, if you look at Bills, the thing that I remember at first, when we first really interacted online, one of the things that I would always look at was how he would react to certain things. This man could seem like he could blow a gasket on anything that would happen. And a lot of times I found myself saying, "Hey, you know, I have to." It from my viewpoint, initially, it was like, "Wow, he's really taking it personal," and it's like, you know, as far as um, reacting to stuff, that man, he had no filter, no filter. Like, I've, I'm like, it's yeah, that's right, Via. Kind of like BG. That's why we. That's why I sat there. I was like, man, remind me of BG. But with Bills, it just for me with Bills, and he knows this. It took some time to understand that his personality and understanding that he's not blowing a gasket. Trust me, it could get. I'm like not with him, but I've seen people blow a gasket, and I definitely, yeah. There were a lot of people that were like that, but what was it? Yeah, and this is another thing I need to work on. I've been on this pause screen, not the pause screen, this menu screen. That's one of the things that I have a hard time doing. And this is the part that I find that I can operate better in a podcast. I'm not entertaining when it comes to the games because I lose my focus. Like I'm sitting here, I'm like, it's you and I talking back and forth, but it's just like if I were to deal with a general audience, I would not be the best at gaming whatsoever. I would literally be pausing the game because it's like the dexterity to be able to play a game and be entertaining. That's the part where I feel like I'm not as good as a lot of people. That's why I feel like my channel. No, 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 no. It's not your fault. No, no. I think sometimes the conversation can be better than the actual gameplay. It's just the way I work, the way I my brain works is that I want to put a majority of the focus on what's most active. And this is a type of game where now that you're here, you are the most active part of this stream. So my focus tends to focus more on you, or if there's like several other people, if there were several other people in here, my focus would be on the chat and interacting, and then going back and playing certain segments of the game if I was playing the game. Now, that would mean I probably wouldn't be able to play. Well, no, I could shift it when it comes to games like Battlefield, like a Madden football game, an NHL hockey game, stuff like that. I could shift my focuses. Like, those would be the games where I would hope people are like, I can put out a warning, but like, look, I tend to focus on the gameplay. So if you don't hear me interact, if I miss a chat, or if I miss somebody talking in the chat, then it's one thing. That is true. I think that's why tonight just doing this. First of all, this was totally random. I just something I felt like doing because I haven't done it in a while. But to actually have No Man's Sky. No, I'm like, yeah, I know it's your opinion, but it's valued, and it's been valued for a long time, despite where we were. Whether we like people was cool, people was not cool. People joining cliques, whatever the case there was. I always value your opinion because you were there at the beginning. So, what was it? Ah, I probably made. Head starting to hurt a little bit, but I lost my train of thought. No, no worries. That just reminded me to get back into this game. So, what I was gonna do next, because I've been on this planet where it's been nothing but bubbles. And that's an actual life form. That right there. Oh God. I can only imagine what that is. That's, yeah. Yeah, I'm getting out of here. Alright, we got what we needed. Alright, did I make sure I grabbed everything. Alright, so get off the planet. Them bubbles, that's the that seemed like the planet's surface, but apparently I was able to collect a couple of the let me see if it showed up here. I was able to collect a couple of samples, and I really don't know what them bubbles do. All I just know is that it looked pretty once the daylight hit. Because at night, it was just nothing but blue, like just damn blue bubbles. And why is it not showing up on here? Like, these are all the resources. And it's funny, I put 40 hours in the game, I still haven't uncovered a bunch of resources. This game, when I first streamed this game back in... Yeah, that is true. I beat the story, but I've never actually made it to the center of the universe in this game. I've always, what was it? But I do need to... Now, hold up. Let me see something. It says the Purge. So, I'm still progressing towards the Galactic Center. And that takes forever. But what I want to do is a permadeath stream. And it's not gonna, and obviously it's not gonna be, I'm gonna probably set it to where I do it for a couple hours at a time. Because I want to document my time doing permadeath. Because it was funny, because I literally did a permadeath run. And I didn't do a live stream, of course. I just did a permadeath run. And the permadeath run lasted a couple of playthroughs. Then all of a sudden, my weak-ass ship that I had couldn't deal with the pirates that I was going up against, and I died, and that was it. Alright, so let me get out of here. No, that's not it. There we go. Alright, so... my capital ship is there. I actually want it. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go back where my capital ship is. Because to prepare for this trip, this journey in this game, to make it to the center, I want to consolidate all my resources. I'm going to go back to my capital ship. Hopefully I can land back in that motherfucker, because there was a fight that I was in earlier that I couldn't even get back into it. Alright, where are you? Alright, there you go. Alright, good, you're safe. So I can actually land in there. Alright, so I guess each time I jump, I receive a glyph. Alright. Call it the MV1 Dark Knight. That's the name of my freighter. Now there's many things I can do with my freighter. So I have 3 lanes so ships can land. So there's the deck, but my quarters is actually back here. I literally have to go out here and assign a expedition, but also need to there's no technology I can install on there right now, and no warp cells. Let me go back. I have all these things right here. So I need to do some transferring. That seems like that would take forever. Actually, give me a minute. I'm gonna step aside for a second. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so there were some things I wanted to consolidate. But I also have a cargo hold that I can work on. Yeah. Alright. Storage container. Alright, so let me just see what what things I can do. So I can do large refinery. Because that's one of the things, when I've been so focused on just completing the story, one of the things that you kind of forget about with No Man's Sky is that you can create, 60, damn, it's only 2/3 of the way done? Jeez. That's taking entirely way too long. Alright, so let me... So let me put the first storage area right So it can actually be placed right here, but I'm gonna actually put one right. Let's see. Do I want to start it from this side? Let's put it over here. All right. So now that I have a storage area, storage container. So there's 5 slots. Actually, let me, so that's 1. So I need a storage container. There we go. Storage container 2, and then we'll go number 3. Alright, cool. Good. Alright, so we have, so that's 15 slots I just added on to the ship. So I can actually start placing some of these things. So I did that. Sad thing is, you would have to. Oh, okay. Alright, so let's. I do have a ton of those. So let me grab this from the ship. So there's gonna be a lot of going back and forth with this. Yeah, this is the tedious. Oh yeah, that's right. Starship can take 10. Now, Starship out of range. Good, it's not. That would have been painful. Because what I want to do is I want to be able to send my the companion freighter. I want to be able to send that out to gather more resources. So I'm just going through and doing some house cleaning. Oh, good. Oh, now I figured that out. Pull a doofy. Okay. There we go. Alright, so I could have been doing that the whole entire time. Alright, now that I know that, let's see, what's another I need to set aside? Technology modules. Alright, so trying to figure out how come it says there was another chat installed, but live chat. Okay, there we go. I don't have a clue what this shit is about. If you're talking about why it's taking so long, I don't know either. Not onboard freighter. Oh, that's right. It's got to be on me. Okay, so. Alright. There we go. Yeah. It's funny because Bills has this game too. Because when it first came out in 2016, it didn't have it really didn't have much into it. It was nothing. Matter of fact, it was nothing in the game that originally Sean Murray had promised. Now it has pretty much all of the stuff that he promised that was supposed to be in 2016. Got it. All came to fruition last year. You can do co-op. There's multiplayer overall, but only up to 4-player co-op. 16 people on a server. And what happens is that you can see the other 3 people in your group, but the others, like anybody outside of that, is a blue orb. There's one free, and all the updates have been free updates. Like I got this for $60, and all the updates have been free ever since. But to tell you the truth, the game is a $60 game. It became a $60 game in 2018. It wasn't worth $60 in 2016. I can guarantee that. The multiplayer is seamless. Like you can join somebody as they're playing. Right now it's not cross-platform. So it would have to be like I've had a couple of people join, but every time I do every play session I've had, the chances of somebody joining in has been relatively small. Alright, now what I'm doing. I need to some other things I want. Oh, technology modules. I want to tuck those away too. Alright, put that on Starship. Okay. There we go. Alright, cool. Alright, so what else do we want to tuck away? Because I try to get some of the items, when I tuck away stuff in these storage crates, I tend to go for like I need to start selling some of these. Like I need to sell this, I need to sell that. I don't even know why we even use this. I would definitely sell that. Let's see. Well, let me grab this and put this on the Starship. Let's see. Go to Starship. That's funny. Let me see. definitely need to craft. There we go. And then let's see. What's the percentage? Is that 80? Now it's at 100. Okay, good. So got that. See, it's funny. I don't think the AI has anything to do with it. I mean, as far as when you're talking about like multiplayer online, you're talking about um, like possibly like the other players. When you encounter pirates and stuff like that, they actually have gotten better in their flight uh, maneuverability, or they've actually the the ship battles have been a lot better since the launch. Like when I would encounter pirates in the when at the, for the launch of the game, the AI was pretty simple. But now when you encounter them now, it actually takes some skill and what your ship is, how you built up your ship, and your flight and your flying skills come into play. Like you do a lot of maneuvering. Like earlier, if you go back at the beginning of the screen, I had to run away from a fight because I was ill prepared for it. But I had to, in order to avoid being shot at, I had to fly into an asteroid field and maneuver around there. Kind of reminded everybody of Empire Strikes Back, if anybody's seen that. But and that's a Star Wars movie, I was reminded. Uh, see, I was relating the AI to this game. If we're talking about other games, you're probably gonna have to be a little bit more specific. Let's see, do I want salvage technology? I don't know, why would I want that? Anything else I want to craft? A ton of these, so I can tuck these away. There we go. Oxygen capsules. Okay, can't do anything there. So definitely need to. I don't know, where'd those go? Oh, okay, here. There we go. That's there. That's there. That's there. My support module. That's there. I think I'm trying to remember. I know one game in particular I wish they had better AI was Ghost Recon Wildlands. If they had better AI, I probably would have beaten that game by now because because the AI is so simple and it's progression based as far as if you are at one particular level, alert level, they do certain tactics. The Division definitely had way better AI. The Division 2, not the first one was one thing, but the second one, yeah, the AI was. I thought the AI was pretty good. Like I think the variety of tactics between enemies what kept me in that game, because the first bit of enemies you encounter in Division 2, they're pretty much or unorganized, and they run at you, and it's a helter skelter. But then as you encounter the enemies later in the game, they're more organized, they use tactics, and then eventually you run into the last enemies, where they use the same technology that you can use. So yeah, in games that don't have a lot of combat in them, then NPCs can be simple. But for the ones that you have to go up against, like, I think a lot of times, like, at the root of the matter, we tend to look for something that's human-like in reaction, response, mistakes. So that's why a lot of people, when they get these games, they do online multiplayer. They do like the Battlefields, the Call of Duties, the Fortnites, PUBGs, the other games. I can't remember the ones at the moment, but they do those to battle other human players. That's why people, when they play these sports games, they want to play against other people, because they want to go up against somebody that they want to go up against something that's organic in nature. And the AI, as far as the companies, I think that, obviously, I think we're behind in this country. I think we're behind as far as AI development. Japan probably has the best AI, is probably the best in AI development on the planet. So if they were to make a game and they focus on the AI, all of us would be complaining. Every single last one of us here in the States would be complaining and talking about the game's too hard. Like just think if Sony, if a Japanese company did American football and baseball, they kind of already have a Japanese baseball game, and from what VF has told me from playing that game, the AI is pretty damn good. So you just need a country, like a company coming from Japan, to do like a sports game. It'll be a wrap. Like, nobody would be talking about Madden being poor and not of quality when it comes to their AI if a Japanese company did it. Okay, well, let's see how much space I have in this container. So all spots are taken there. Okay, I have a couple spots remaining there, but let me make sure I have. Okay. Life support gel. Alright, so I'm good there. Cargo. Alright. Check my freighter. Oxygen capsule. See, you know what's funny? And this is where we are right now. Because we look at stuff and what is it? We look at how games are put together, and we look at where we are. I was the one that sat there and said, and Smitty has referenced this quote that I posted on Twitter maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe 4 years ago, where it basically, to sum it up, just to paraphrase it, I basically was saying that nobody's ready for adaptive AI in a game. Nobody's ready for adaptive AI, and nobody's ready for the real thing. In the sim football community, I believe people, they want sim, but can they really handle it? That is true. That I'd rather have stuff evolve as well. And one of the things, see, that's why I look at, like, one, okay, NBA 2K, they have Ace. Probably gives you the most variety and not necessarily as far as strategic parity amongst the teams. Like, teams play like their real life counterparts. Now, they could probably do better with the individual players as far as their tendencies to play more like their real life counterparts, but the system itself at its core, as far as offensive, defensive strategies, and also according to the difficulty level, because with 2K, you don't really fully experience Ace until you hit superstar level. All Star is like a fraction of it, and then of course the other two mode, Pro and Rookie, are like Ace Light. But you get full Ace at superstar level, and this is something that Czar pointed out, is that you put that thing on superstar, you get the full brunt of Ace. I remember playing in a game where all of a sudden, like, even though I had a John Wall would come down with the ball, and he wasn't really doing much, but he's a star player on the team. All of a sudden, a double team came out of nowhere in a few series. Sometimes nothing would come. Different pick and roll defenses were set up, and it was geared. And these defensive settings set by the CPU were set up to stop my star players, and they would change, and the tactics would change throughout the game. And that's the thing I like, and you've pointed out too. I feel like you like as well, that it's going to challenge me in a way that changes the way I play the game. That tells me that I have to slow down and really look at what's in front of me. Like, how am I gonna, like, if they come with the double team off the pick and roll, how am I gonna react to it with the stick skills and the knowledge of basketball that I have. Now, unfortunately, I don't listen to people like Apex when it comes to 2K, because I've said this in a Twitter post, because somebody was like, well, Ryan Moody talks about this, and when it comes to like football and stuff like that, and I was just like, you know what, I choose to listen to myself. I follow my own path when it comes to how a game's gonna play out, because half the stuff, like, I believe that a lot of stuff that Moody talks about, I've seen it pop up in games too. So, like, the only thing I could roast him about is that goddamn no hands controversy last year. That's like primarily well, there's other things that I could roast him about, but you know, that no hands with not knowing who that was when everyone else knew who it was, but was just so quick and wanted to make a video eviscerating EA that he wanted to be eviscerating himself. I thought that was hilarious. And yes, it is the frequency of when stuff happens. Like, I know when I play, and this is why I don't really listen to anybody else when it comes to... Everyone has a different frequency level that they can deal with. Everyone knows stuff happens in the game. Just everybody experiences at a different frequency, and then on top of that, everybody has a tolerance level for the frequency level itself. So Brian Moody may not be able to, well, honestly, let's be real. This man's been able to tolerate all this stuff because he makes money off of it in the views and the videos and stuff like that. You have to be very tolerant of stuff to continue to make video after video after video after video after video, year in, year out, almost every single day. Very tolerant of the frequencies because you set that aside just for the views and the money and the spreading of awareness. Those are the three things that he puts aside his own tolerance of frequency. Because other than that, if he wasn't doing all this, he would stop playing Madden a long time ago. That's why I stopped making Madden videos a long time ago, because my tolerance level for stuff, I'm like, I can be patient, but when it comes to the fact of video making, of these mistakes and these glitches and these football principles being violated, I just refer people to a past video. I've taken the time to organize my videos so it goes by year, so we can go back to like 2014, 2013, 2012, 2011, and I'll just pull one up out the archives. I'll like Flashback Friday. This is when I talked about this. This is when I talked about that. Is it still happening? Yeah. Are there things that have improved? Yes. Have there things that have devolved? Yes. But I don't need to make another video ever again about Madden. I just refer people to where I was. So they need to make it not scripted, like canned. Like scripted, if you think about it, programming is scripting. So I believe it's redundant to say, oh, this is scripted, this is scripted. When you program a game, when you are using code to make a game, that's what you're doing. You're just providing a number of scripted sequences based on the coding that you're able to use. So all games are scripted. All games are scripted. All outcomes already programmed into the game. Most games don't accept new information because it takes from the information that's already in the game in the first place. That's why you have glitches. Because it does encounter a situation where the CPU is like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to react to this? Like, what animation? Like, if you think about it, a lot of animations sometimes don't play. A lot of times the animation doesn't play out well. It chooses the wrong animation. It doesn't have a certain hit point to start the animations from, and you're like, oh, they need more animations. You see this person, like, to explain a lot of like the morphing and the rocket, the boosting, whatever. They don't have enough like when it comes to tackling, they don't have enough hit points. They don't have enough. Yeah, I knew you would understand. You're well ahead of me as far as the programming, but looking at it, see, this was another reason why I stopped making videos on Madden, because when I got a chance to look at what was it? When the Unreal Engine was available for the public, I felt like that was a time period where that's where I smartened up about the game, and now I can explain it in a different way that you guys as programmers and engineers I feel like I can talk to engineers, not necessarily through all their language, but I can think and visualize what they would like to talk about. Like when it comes to, okay, how do you, like, let's look at All Pro Football 2K8. I can tell you right now, that game was programmed with multiple hit points and animations to go off of those hit points to make it appear that the tackling, the physics were organic in nature, when in fact that's all scripted. They just gave you more options, possibilities, hit points, whatever. Well, yeah, it does happen a lot in Madden because they don't. It's exactly what I just explained. They don't put enough hit points. They don't, like. I don't know if this is possible, but if you can have moving hit points to the point where it would account for every part, like, okay, physics accounts for like real-time physics is supposed to account for every part of the body that you hit, and depending upon the 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 orientation of the person either delivering the hit or the way stuff interacts, there's supposed to be equal and greater reaction or a corresponding reaction. That's what I'm looking for, a corresponding reaction. So Madden just doesn't have enough corresponding reactions, hence animations that don't play out. And then I have to wonder the probability of certain animations appearing, because you hear every single year how many animations were added to the game. You hear hundreds of animations, but do we really see that many animations? And the answer is no, especially if we leave the game on default sliders. See, yeah, and that's another thing. That's also sleight of hand. That's sleight of hand programming. What 2K has done, they have done enough in certain areas that you can overlook other areas. Like they really need to. Like, okay, my main frustration with 2K is player movement. Period. I look at Live has great player movement. It's just that their animations suck. Still, their players in Live, like, Live has become the very thing that 2K was a few years ago, and that was animation heavy. And it's funny that they went in that route. Like, another company wasn't at that point and had to dial back from the animation heavy sequences because players were complaining too much. The feeling of loss of control, user control, because you didn't have any unbreakable animation sequences. Like in Live, you have sequences that play out and you can't really break away from them. Yeah, 2K players tend to still slide, and I remember they haven't talked about the foot planning like they did when they initially switched over their engine. Because you also gotta remember they did switch. 2K did switch over their engine. I forgot what it's called, but I think when they went to this generation of consoles, they changed their engine. And it's funny because 2K14, 2K15, maybe 2K16, I felt like 2K15, the player movement, like I go back and I watch my League series and look at the player movement there. I thought that was perfect. All you had to do was just add ace. And so a lot of people are like, well, why can't we have the player interaction and player movement like 2K15, but give me the AI and get rid of all the other stuff, interaction wise, player movement wise, that's in that's in 2K now. So, boy, okay. I was still thinking about, do I need to, okay, this is what I need to, this is the next thing I need to do. I need to put the antimatter, not necessarily on the ship, but I need to have it there. I think that's it, or do I want to, hold on, do I want to, okay, put that there. Yeah, there's certain ones I want to go ahead and then I start doing this too. Oh, I need to, hold up. Yeah, I need to grab that. It's navigation data. Okay. Yeah, you need to, oh God, I ran out of space. February. Alright. I say house cleaning. This is it. I tend to start going through and organizing shit. That My League is probably my favorite shit in 2K. I would probably play Madden if they had some shit like that. See, and that's a sore spot for me. Is that you look at Madden, their last gasp to build on their franchise mode was Madden 12. As far as, you know, gameplay that went along with the franchise, it was Madden 08. But Madden 12 was the last gasp. And then they just completely, I think 13 they didn't touch it. And then, no, they didn't touch it. I don't know what they did for 13. Then after that, it was just like, oh, get this, use XP to do this. I'm like, really? You're changing the franchise and are basing it, and the whole meta of franchise is XP? I'm like, Lex Marston, he basically, you know, I'm not gonna say went apeshit, but the moment that franchise mode became XP based as far as its meta, that was it for him. I just didn't like the fact that they turned, like, franchise modes are RPG, but then at the same time, you can't, it's not Final Fantasy. It's not like some of these MMOs that are out here. And that's an unfortunate thing. It's like they turned franchise mode into an MMO. And that's not the point of franchise mode. Even though you do have connected franchise and stuff like that, but the idea of franchise is to take control of a franchise. You're going to run it over multiple seasons. You're basically a GM, head coach, or whatever you are, and you're going to handle the team. Now, of course, you're going to control because you're going to play the games and stuff like that, but you're basically running a team, just like it's set up in My League. Well, here's the thing. 2K has My League and My GM. You pretty much have two types of franchise mode. You have two franchise modes in one game. Not only do they have this for My League, they have it for My GM. So for franchise mode, it's just the fact that for Madden, they need to just, whatever they're putting in there, like the scenario engine. I'm like, it's good. I see potential in it. I know some others have said that they see potential in the scenario engine, but I need to see stuff that GMs are responsible for. I want to see a collective bargaining agreement in place that runs the league. I want to see, like, in My League, we're up to a point. Okay, first of all, Don't believe this BS about, franchise has to be minimized as far as its improvements year to year. It took it to get to where, I look at it like this, and Smitty will do this, and I like Smitty, but sometimes he'd be on that BS when it comes to comparing as far as mitigating the damage and rationalizing Madden's pace on franchise mode versus NBA 2K's pacing on franchise mode. If you think about it, they didn't really have a franchise mode in 2K14. So, what were they really? Were they building off previous franchise modes? Yes, they were. But you have to look at the rate of productivity from the moment they put My League in the game, how they improved each year. There's no comparison right now. There's no game that's out there there's no sports game out there on the market whose improvements in one mode supersedes NBA 2K's in My League. And with that, there's no excuse why Madden or any other sports game should only put a little bit here, a little bit there, and spread it out here and spread it out there. There's no excuse. This game, the NBA 2K went from with 2K14 barely having anything in their franchise mode to next year they had enough to pique the interest. Like going into 2K15, when we read that franchise blog when My League was created, there was no way. I'm reading that blog, and then I played through a whole season, 82 games, 5 games in the first round because I lost the series 4-1. Everything that was in that blog for 2K15, I got to experience in a whole season. The ups and downs of the season. I seen Oklahoma City go on a tear that year because there were elements that were in it. Player morale, team chemistry. Two important things. There's only morale in the franchise mode for Madden, but they don't have team chemistry except for the offensive linemen. And that's just the ratings, and that's part of the gameplay. But anyway, they really hit the nail on the head when it came to how a season is supposed to go in the NBA. What you have to do as a coach, a GM, possibly an owner, practice, training, player progression, regression, drafting, scouting, even scouting at the league level, off-season tasks, deadlines, activities that happen during the season like the All-Star break, trade deadline, structuring of contracts. They had all these things in the first iteration of My League. So whether 2K had a franchise mode beforehand, they had nothing like what they have now before. So we can just kill that right there. They had a concept, but so did Madden. And Madden has had theirs for a lot longer. So why let it go to the wayside after 12 and then come back with this MMO bullshit by 14, 25, whatever you want to call it, and not have anything, even to include a year where they didn't touch it at all. Within that second phase of Madden, they didn't touch the franchise mode. 1 year. And even when they first put in long shot, how they sacrificed what little they had as far as resources to put into long shot, it really doesn't make any sense. So you look at and just to look at the blogs that came out for 2K16, 17, 18. I felt like if Madden was on the same tip, they would have had a complete franchise by the same point that 2K had it to the point where you could customize everything. Sliders for player regression, training. I'm like, the improvements, the additions in my league last year were all about being able to control the rate of a lot of things. Controlling how players view, how teams, players, AI, all that views how they operate during the season. Has sliders for that. That's what last year was about. I can only fathom what they're about to do next year. They may not do much, which is funny because this is what happens when you put in the work early. You put in enough work early. I wouldn't mind my league being tuned, but not really greatly improved upon, because they got to the point where they can coast for a little bit. 1 year though, just 1 year. 1 year you can coast, but tune my league. You got rule changes and stuff like that. The rule changes keep the game fresh. Ace keeps the game fresh. I felt like if Madden would have put in the work in their franchise mode at the same rate that 2K did for theirs, Madden would be coasting for 1 year in their franchise mode at this point in time. But no, that's not what they were focused on. And it's unfortunate because it proves to be their downfall every single year. Is that they don't, that for whatever reason, and I directly blame the suits for this, because it's the management, it's the suits, it's the people that place their hands on these developers' shoulders. Like, no, I need you to go to this department. I need you to go to Live and work on their game when you're supposed to be working on Madden. I'm gonna need you to go to Long Shot, even though you were brought here to work on franchise. Hell, we don't even, Josh Lumen, where the hell is he? He's nowhere to be found. He's like tucked away in Austin somewhere. I don't even know if he's associated with EA and Madden football anymore. This man had the last great mode in the game and it was a separate game, NFL head coach. That was his game. That was actually the last great franchise mode that EA had, was NFL head coach, a separate game. Oh yeah, hell, I've been the one that's been bringing it up on the show, as far as what Maximum Football has been doing. I'm like, I have their game from last year, and I see a lot of potential as far as the physics are concerned. I've seen a lot of stuff physics wise that I liked, and see where they could go with it if they continue to fix it. And I see that they're getting, their staff is getting a little bit bigger, so they have more designers. With their dynasty mode, that's going to be crazy. That will be crazy. Yeah, I don't think the gameplay is going to be all that. I'm like, I always look at where they're coming from and what they're building to. And in the same token, I look at these other games. 2K back in 2000 was not 2K what it is today. That literally has taken 20 years of 2K to get to the point where it is now. Madden is older, obviously, but I remember when that thing was a PC only game We're sprites. And we were all actually we were all saying that. You know, it wasn't just Jay. We all were saying that. It's just like, why? Because basically that's what, if you think about it, that's what my GM is. Is basically head coach. You have everything else going for it, including player interaction. Like, I like the traits that were associated. Like, okay, looking at 2K's my GM mode, and you look at the traits that personnel in management have. You have people that are rats. You have people that are bad with finances. Um, you have people that are good at finances. You have positive and negative traits. And that's another issue I have with Madden. Why can't we have negative traits? Everything. I hate. Bills and I have talked about this. We talk about this a lot. That everyone gets a trophy society. That's basically what's going on in Madden. Why regression has kind of been nerfed. How you don't see negative traits on these players, unless I'm like, you do see something, but you don't see like a guy like that's either injury prone. That I think that was it was an older Madden. The older Maddens had these negative traits. Oh, I don't think he's going to get to the point where he's going to try to make everyone happy. I think he understands his core. I'm like, he basically changed the game around he changed the game in several aspects to be able to make it for the hardcore his hardcore audience. I'm like, that man went from, it was called Canadian Football League or Canadian Football Game, or I guess it was Canadian Football, whatever it was called. It was called that. It didn't have a real title. And it's funny because it was Maximum Football before, so they just brought that title back with Maximum Football. But that was key to get Doug Flutie involved, and they got all these actual sponsors that with the equipment and stuff like that. But they definitely are filling a gap, or are attempting to fill a gap that some people have said they were going to fill, but don't look like they're going to do it. And that's talking about IMV Gaming, talking about Kyle Anderson. Oh God, he needs to just stop. I'm like, we want to talk about. I'm like, he gets points for the effort, but he gets an F for the results or the. See, that's why. Okay, as an artist, not that I'm an artist, but I know artists don't like to show. There's a tendency not to show their work while they're working on it, and Kyle Anderson is proof that you don't show your work as you're working on it, because if if the work in progress is not up to snuff, we're in an unforgiving society where we would just roast the hell out of you for an unfinished product, even though it's work in progress. So, all right, let me get back to this. Trying to figure out what I need to do next. Is there anything else I need to do? Because I've been on this one thing, and I definitely do need to send. Okay, so this stuff that I need to sell. All right, let's do that. Cobalt mirror. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, let me send that. There we go. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. I'm like I purchased Maximum Football 2 Maximum Football 18 just to offer my support. I'm like I was already doing enough advertising on First and Frame Rates, so it is what it is. Let's see. Want to make sure I have stuff I can just sell. So I can sell that, sell that. That needs to go in the storage. There we go. Okay. Back on Starship. That could go in the Starship. Alright, good. Bring that down here. Alright. Is there anything I can transfer out that I can... Oh, can I move this? Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, a lot of this I'm going to sell. So all this is going to be empty by the time... What I can do is move these out. Because I'm not going to land on a planet anytime soon. Move that out. I don't know why I got bubble clusters. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, the logo editor, how that's going to play out. Okay, let me see. Okay, good. That reduced the amount of... Yeah, I'm going to sell that, sell that. Oh yeah, let me grab that. Alright. So... Alright, so we are going to sell some... We're going to sell some things. Oh, you know what? There we go. I'm just trying to see what else I can... Okay, so that's it right there. That could stay right there. Yep. Alright, so we're going to sell these things. That is funny. I haven't heard anything from Access either. Wonder what they're up to. Alright, but in the meantime, let me... Okay. Keep going. I was about to say, I'm about to be lost in my own freighter. I've been on this freighter the whole entire time. Alright, so let me get these people... Alright, let's see what we can do. I forgot what type of freighter I have. I need to... Oh no, that's not it. Manage fleet. There we go. Mining vessels, so industrial, so probably send it to... Yeah, and that's funny because that's what certain that's basically what Kyle was trying to do, and I guess he's still trying to do that, but I think he should. Like I said, I think he should give it up because it's not going to work. Because that gameplay is going to get. That gameplay has already been ripped to shreds for what he put out there. So, all right. So, let me assign this ship. See, it's funny. I thought I had this stuff. I gotta remember stuff like this, so I'm gonna send them out. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and brief them real quick, and then I'm gonna fly to the space station to sell my items, and I think I'm gonna call it a night as far as the stream is concerned. I'm gonna continue to play because a lot of this has been just mostly conversation. This live stream towards the end is mostly a conversation and a lot of house cleaning, housekeeping as far as my items. I've never really taken the time, and it's funny because when you really don't keep track of your items, then you really. So they have started. Hopefully nothing happens to them. Alright, so let me. Oh yeah, that's some other things. Do I got enough space? Yeah, I got 2 slots left. I forgot. Let me grab what's in. I don't know what this was here. Okay, I'll like. Condensed carbon. Alright, that was going to be a new item. God damn it. Okay, I'm not going to be that going freighter. Navigation data. Alright, so I can go there. I'm like, this is the type of game where it didn't matter. If it was a game like Battlefield where my mind drifted, I would be, I wouldn't be pissed, but I'd be kind of, I would probably turn off the game after a while. But a game like this, like I said, this is a pretty chill game, so definitely is a pretty good game when you have like 3 other people, because you can build a lot faster, you can explore, and there's no limit how far a person can go. There's no boundary that players are held to when you're playing together. You could be in a different, like obviously you probably be in a party chat and all, but you can literally be like, each person can be on a different planets scrounging for resources, and I went the wrong way. I need to turn this way. There we go. Yeah, because we're approaching about 2 a.m. Yeah, usually when I yawn, that's definitely a sign. So we gonna sell these things. All right. So we're doing a fire sale. So we're gonna sell. Oh God, that's how much is sold. How? I swear, stuff that you would think would sell doesn't sell. We're gonna sell this because we don't have that much of it. I have no need for these. They're on every planet. Yeah, a game like Resident Evil, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that live. And I haven't even completed it. But the thing is, for me, there's no incentive for me to complete that game because I beat Resident Evil 2 before, like not the remake, but like I as far as the remake, that remake was concerned, I like that the layout aspects of the story, but I didn't like the fact that I wanted them to keep intact the continuity of one person facing Mr. X. If because the first person, because basically both characters deal with Mr. X and William Birkin, when in fact in the original Resident Evil 2, one person dealt with Birkin, the other, and the A scenario dealt with Birkin, the B scenario dealt with Mr. X, then Birkin. But it was mostly Mr. X, and and like both, both final enemies would be Birkin. So okay, let me sell that. Sell the bubbles. The Walker Brain. I'm gonna go ahead and sell that. Sell that. Sold. Alright, what are we looking at? There we go. Alright, switch to ship. Yep, sell that. Damn, that wasn't even that much. Yep. Sold. Alright, so buy. They have all this stuff. Okay, uranium. Okay. Alright, so let me look at my inventory. See, and that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to free up space. That's all I was trying to do. And I need to place... Put this in exosuit. Anything ship related... Anything ship related I need to place on the starship. Anything that can stay in the suit will stay in the suit. There we go. That can go right there. So let's see how I freed up all this. Yep, that's true. We have a higher standard than most folks. These people that have that are in gaming now, they don't know how bad they have it. I know the normal term is they don't know how good they have it. No, they don't know how bad they have it. They have it horribly. They have it horribly wrong in this day and age. How you get bored of the RE2 remake? That thing, the RE2 remake is scarier than the first one. I had to admit. I'm like, it's a lot darker. Like the Resident Evil 2, the original Resident Evil 2, you pretty much were, what the heck? You pretty much everything was lit. Enemies only moved a certain way. You moved a certain way. it was the fixed camera angle, so you never were placed in harm's way. But with RE2, not only is it darker, you're placed in harm's way. And then Mr. X, and the fact that these zombies can go from door to, can go through these doors. Yeah. Mr. X music, when he shows up, that music reminds me of the Terminator. Like it has the same thing. It has that like intense sound, and then it does that little dum 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 dum. That reminds me of Terminator. Matter of fact, on PC they have a mod where it's actually the Terminator. I thought that was pretty cool when I saw that clip. I was like, oh, now Arnold's in it. You can put Arnold in the game, and it's this giant Terminator, not this normal looking human being. So okay, so I think I sold everything I needed to sell. Do I have anything in the cargo that I need to sell? No, I just have anything over two. Okay, so here's what I can do. Okay, so this can go in exosuit. Anything. I always have a rule when it comes to, if it's over 250. If it's over 250, it goes in a high capacity. Let's see. Oh, that's right. I gotta be on board to get all that. I can always make one of these. I don't have to be anywhere. I'm gonna put these down here. Look at my suit upgrades. So, as of right now, I can upgrade. I would literally get rid of one of these to add this on. But the one thing I'm almost afraid to do in this game, and that is go underwater. That is the one thing I am probably not willing to do in this game. And there's a whole lot underwater that that is undiscovered. But I'm too chicken shit to go underwater. I have this innate fear of being underwater in a big ocean area where if I close my eyes, I picture Jaws, I picture unknown terrors. I played that one game, I forgot the name of it. I played it, and yeah. Well, in No Man's Sky, you can shoot. You do have weapons, and there are weapons you can upgrade, so you're not totally. But then you also have, oh, no. I'm like, Mr. X is the only character that you really can't do anything until you get to the end of the game. Like with him, you would have to run, but even so, when you're out of his view, you hear his footsteps, and you kind of have to pick and choose your battles with other zombies, lickers, because as soon as he hears gunshots, he's gonna make it. Somebody did a test where if they stood in a room, like if they got away from Mr. X. They stood in a room. They was like, okay, how long does it take Mr. X to find me? To find them? And it took a while, but eventually Mr. X found the person. So the next one, I forgot what they did. They fired gunshots. They fired a couple of gunshots, like the pistol. And of course, Mr. X got there sooner, but it wasn't much sooner. Fired a shotgun, anything heavier. Oh, Mr. X was right there. It just pop up in a second. Now, okay. So I guess from here. Oh yeah, that's another thing I need to do. Alright, so fill that up. Alright, so it's definitely outside this stream. There's definitely gonna be some things I'm gonna do to upgrade, but I'm gonna start making my journey towards the center in the Blue Falcon. And I have, how many jumps do I have left before I start need? It's gonna be a few jumps I'm gonna need to do before I. As far as with Resident Evil, I never, like me personally, I never really had a problem that you couldn't punch or kick stuff. And it's funny because Resident Evil 4 and 5, they added in the ability to punch and kick and made it very much an action game when it wasn't supposed to be an action game. So I got 15 nanite clusters for that. There we go. Oh, there's nothing there. Okay, great. Alright. It's the internal rain, Sentinel's mineral, flora abundant, and fauna bountiful. Cadmium, gold, and sodium. Build up. Technology-wise, I do need to. Oh, that's right. I did get rid of. This is a technology. I need the conflict scanner, economic scanner, and I think those are the two. Those are the two scanners I have. Thought I had teleport receiver, phase beam. So emerald drive, cadmium drive, regular hyperdrive, augmented vacuum drive. They gave me more warp capabilities. If I can get a supreme warp capability upgrade, I would add that on to here. That would probably add enough. That added about 163 light years per jump. So, all right. And we are gonna make our jumps with the. Oh, that's right. I can travel further with. Oh God. Let me just scan that planet a little bit. Did I? Nope. Never scanned that planet. All right. So we're gonna do our jump. That's what I'm trying to see. Yeah, it's way out of range. That's 600 light years away. Huh. So we got here 70. Oh, I forgot. Let's see, 134. Okay, so can I jump to that? Is that out of range? Okay, good. How many plants are here? They did that for one Resident Evil game, but that Resident Evil game was garbage. Got what it was. That's funny. I never really paid attention that. Okay. All right. So where the solid line is my work potential. Where the dotted line is basically outside my range of work. I did not realize that until now. Sometimes they have to suspend logic to progress a story or make it playable. Got a message coming in. So I guess this is my last jump. Oh, this one has a lot of planets. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 planets. Let's jump here. What I think about Havo's game, that's good. It's good. It's good for him. I don't really think much of it. I'm not interested in a game that goes back on what I'm accustomed to playing. Like, if that game came out during the years I was playing Tecmo Bowl, I would be straight. I'm one of those people that doesn't really have the need to play old games or play games that remind me of the old ways. I'm sure it's a good game. I'm sure what he has in mind for it. That he worked pretty hard on it, and yeah, I figure it'd be a pretty good game. But me personally, I really haven't thought much of it. Alright, do I have any more? Or, oh no, I have one more jump. Oh, excuse me. So, let me look at this. I have a long way to go when it comes to. Listen, I have a long way to go before I reach the center. I'm trying to figure out what's this next. What's here? There's 3 planets. One looks like it has a moon. Dominant life form Gek. Alright, so it looks like this will be the final warp spot. Then I'm gonna call for my freighter, so I can at least be nearby. Well, yeah, you gotta get your feet wet somewhere. Like a lot of people that they want to get involved in making any type of video game, they have to start somewhere. I feel like out of all the people within the community that have a chance to do something, I think he has the most potential. Because say what you want about the game he's putting out, it's definitely not turning out like Kyle Anderson's poor attempt at a game. I'm like, that dude is struggling. I was like, they're way better animations in Havo's game than Cal. And you know what? And yeah, Cal being ambitious, but come on. It's just like Damon Grell. That's a name that no one in the sim community wants to speak of. But you know, whenever we bring him up, you want to talk about, you know, where they started and what they had versus what he was reduced to. Like, it is so funny. Remember him and Joe Montana couldn't be separated. And all of a sudden, it's like after what happened a few years ago at E3, Joe Montana has nothing. It's like you don't hear Joe Montana even whisper the name Damon Grell. Like, if he looks like he's about to say somebody's name started for D, he has to second guess what he's about to say. Yeah, that dude never ain't gonna recover. He's never going to recover, ever. Let me see if I remember. It's always potential to recover, to recruit freighters. So I'm gonna see how, if I can recruit a frigate. That's what I like to call them now. Let's see. Instead of a place I can land, I can fly into. Because I sure could use another. Alright, let me inspect what you got going on here. The new captain is an excellent friend. The crew. Yeah, unfortunately, I have an industrial specialist. They've been on 34, they've been damaged 10 times, but they're a B class. Self-repairing hull, damage reduction. Each attack's daughter. Yeah, unfortunately I'm going to have to decline because one, I'm not going to be able to purchase, and yeah, that's that. Alright, so check this one out. Alright, let's see what you got. Another industrial specialist. Yeah. That's that's the crazy part. Let me see if I can mine this ship back into code. I definitely do need the secondary. Mining vessel. Damn, I wouldn't be able to get any of them. Are we out of... Yeah, it's true. It's not really fair. We have... Oh, wow. We actually have... Like, I thought I was out of jumps. I thought that was going to be the last one. Well, let's jump some more. This one has way more planets. This all kind of... See, I don't think they have any stars that remind them of the solar system. Alright, so we're going to go here. Alright, so now we're going to call for my freighter. I think that's the last jump. Funny, I literally have a home planet that I can warp back to that I have not, ever since I went through the story, I have not gone back to. Alright. Let's see how we're looking. Yep, now we're out of fuel. I didn't think I was continuing the lie. It's still... let me see. Now, are you asking how many... In this system, it looks like there's... Let's see, how many planets? 1, 2, 3... Let's see. That's 4, 5, 6. There are 6 planets in this system right here. So... commercial, but I need to land on one of these planets because I need to gain resources. A planet prospect. Scan these planets. Contoured planet. This one was Taurid planet. It's a lighted planet. Tropical planet. I think we're gonna go here. Yeah, and it's funny seeing people's interpretations of Alien. It's just funny to have a game where you can explore. Everything is procedurally generated, so like everything is alien in a ways. Wow, this is gonna take a while. They're procedurally generated, so you can go anywhere you want. There's no tiers, there's nothing to unlock. I think the term you discover items, but as far as being able to travel, you can go anywhere you want as long as you gather the resources. And like, I ran out of warp fuel, so I can no longer warp to any other systems until I get some warp fuel, which, yeah, you would think, but I upgraded my engines, so my pulse engine, so it doesn't consume as much fuel. I'm gonna have plenty of fuel. Matter of fact, I'm on this planet now, so. I can imagine playing this game in VR. This would be crazy. So this is what they're going to consider tropical. Let me slow down. Alright, let's see what's over here. Oh, what's this? Alright. Oh, there's heat here? Oh, crap. Googly moogly. Alright. It tells you how much fuel you have, and it tells you how long it takes to get to the planet. So, yes, it does. Like as you saw, I looked at the panel in front of me. It was telling me how much fuel I have remaining, and then I think as long as the cursor was pointed at the planet, I would know how long it would take for me to get to that planet. So I can monitor both at the same time. It's funny, they give you actual measured distance, and they give you distance as far as time is concerned, like estimated, like it gives you an ETA, in other words. Oh, that's right, I landed on a planet without the stuff that I usually. Is this a, hold up, is this something I have to break into? I hope not. Okay. The Korvax Observatory. So these are Korvax are one of the aliens, Gek, and Vakeen are the three aliens, and then there's another one called Traveler or Anomaly or something like that. Alright, so let me see. And you have to learn their languages. In other words, can you run out of gas? If so, what to do? Okay. No, because you have two types of engines. You have a pulse engine, which consumes fuel. Then you have regular propulsion engines that you can use, but it takes a long time. Like all that the time that's measured out, that's real time. You They said that like you could literally travel from each planet, but if you use regular propulsion engines and it takes 30 minutes, it's gonna take you 30 real time minutes to get to that place. Um, there's asteroids that you can mine to refuel as long as they produce a certain resource, and that is tritium that you can resource, and you use the tritium to refuel your pulse engine, so that way you're not going to be stuck. But I'm always worried about being caught in fights. Okay, they clearly want to get back to the research, but they are too terrified to look away from me. Oh, well, okay. Be hitchhiking in space. Yeah, and then they get accosted by pirates. Alright, so 2738. Okay, everything's moving to the left, so 8273. It decreased because I didn't leave the man alone, and then it increases because I see. It's funny because you know what I could use? I could stand to get another ship. So let's see what's on this planet. Nope. There you go. So nitrate. That's all it gave me was 19? A big old crystal, and it only gives me 19. That's some bullshit. Okay, alright. So there's nothing here. So I need a metal plating and oxygen. So the ferric dust. There we go. Scan plants, scan rocks, scan different species. Oh, that's nice. Alright, well, before it heats up. See, this is what I'm talking about. And then the storm is about to take over. Yep, there it is. And then the temperature just shoots straight up to unbearable temperatures. Now I could stay out here for a little bit. Not too long, but I do want to get I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they act this year. I'm not doing the whole prediction game because with them it's always some BS. And they tried to really try. They really tried to have everything reenact like we were dealing with RG3 all over again, as far as how they are treating the quarterback situation. So I scan this before I head back to the ship, because I'm gonna have to. There's paradise there. Oh God. Let's get this thing. There we go. Alright. Oh no. It's going right here. Alright, so I have enough ferret dust. It's funny how quickly that all gets filled up. Let me check my cargo. Plating. And I need oxygen. Oh, some over there, but yeah, that is true. Winning does erase everything, but this franchise, for some reason, the simplest thing just is not done with them. Like, all it takes is for the team to focus on the team and to keep stuff in-house. But the way this organization runs is that Daniel Snyder runs it like Donald Trump runs the country. Everything's a circus. Everything's about me, 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 me. And he doesn't like black people. And any Redskins fan that probably will be listening to this through the archive will probably be like, what do you mean? I'm like, he really is the reason why the NBA players feel the way they do about the term owner. This man really feels like he's running a plantation. Shoot, half the Redskins fan base probably their ancestors probably former plantation owners. Shoot, half of them are Trump supporters. I see them every single day jumping on everything. When somebody wants to like say something about Trump, when they sit there and call Trump out for what he really is, I see half of Redskins Nation jumping to defend Donald Trump, and he makes decisions worse than Jerry Jones. But yeah, you got. Oh yeah, and the fact that Daniel Snyder did support Donald Trump and donated to his campaign, so that's another reason not to wish well on this organization. And it's funny because people will come at me not knowing my background in the United States military and not understand that I'm not just looking at it from a regular civilian standpoint. Like, I don't understand what's going on with the country. I'm like, I don't think the country understands what's going on in the country, much less the president, much less the people that voted for him. But that's a different rant altogether. And folks get mad because I call them colonizers. That's exactly where they came from. You know, just like they want to say that as far as this country, we pretty much, our start was slavery. Well, their start was colonizing and pillaging, and as far as this country is concerned. So there, said it. Damn, this is a long ass storm. Can it stop raining? Especially with the, what is it? The external temperature. Oh, okay. Temperature fell a little bit, so I think this storm may be ending. And you want to know why he's probably going to do another 4? Because the Democratic Party is so divided. Like, Trump has done a great job of dividing the nation. Everybody's divided. Everybody's divided. Even though they're like, people on the same team are chomping at the bit to cut each other down. Democrats in these last 2 debates cutting each other down for what? It really doesn't make any sense. That it really doesn't make any sense. And the thing that gets me the most is that the one, like, okay, there are people that literally vote based on what that person looks like or is. Not their ideas, not the policies they're trying to push. Like, okay, case in point. On the Democratic side, you have people who are mirror images of each other, are pretty much talking about the same thing, running on the same platform. One's a man, one's a woman. But the way society has gone, and the way that some of these extremist views have taken place, there are women that won't vote for or won't support Bernie Sanders because he's a man. And then on the other side, you have people who won't vote for Elizabeth Warren because she's a woman. So, and I know on my Facebook feed, there's this one constant person that I went to school with, and I always wonder, it's like, you know, I look at her posts, I see where she's coming from, but it's so much hatred, so much anger, and so much hypocrisy at the same time. Because when you're looking at how divided the Democratic Party is, she's throwing people under general blanket categories. Like, okay, we can all agree that in this country, the only group of people that have not suffered any form of slavery or any form of disenfranchisement are white males. We can all agree on that. We can all agree to that. But with that understanding, you have to really look at people individually. So to constantly go at Bernie Sanders because he's a white male doesn't do anything. It doesn't score any points. It doesn't help the cause. When he literally is doing the same thing that Elizabeth Warren is doing, even going further than Elizabeth Warren, but because he's a white man, this person's not going to vote for him. When it comes down to it, with us being divided, with this country being divided as a nation, extreme views are are able to flourish because each of these views has a home to go to. You know, the different categories of people, you know, the constant bickering over how many genders there. God damn, another rainstorm? Jeez. So there's another rainstorm approaching. Let me get inside this ship. These storms must come in very quick intervals because that storm just left and now there's another one. These damn weather patterns. But anyway, this country is divided based on sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, race, ethnicity, societal norms, occupation, socioeconomic status. Literally every category that you can think of is being used against people in this country to keep each other divided. Like we all are U.S. citizens that are in this country. We have undocumented people in this country. We have visa carrying people in this country, but for the majority, see, here's the thing that needs to be clarified. This is the way I look at it. There's only two sexes, male, female. Gender is more of an identity, which there's masculine and feminine. This is where it doesn't matter what sex you are, your identity is either masculine or feminine. Strong, passive. No, I wouldn't say strong, passive. I would say dominant, passive. So this is where the problem lies in how we interact with each other. The rest of the terms that people come up with are kind of made up. Somebody was talking about this earlier in the day. The rest of these terms are made up. People literally are coming up with terms every single day to identify themselves. At some point, we have to draw a line where it says, look, there's two main forms. There's two sexes. There's two classifications of gender. Everything else, which I would like to know the definitions of these so-called other genders. I think that because people are just throwing out definitions, and then they get mad when you ask them, okay, what is that? Well, some people get mad when they're like, okay, what is that? Could you explain that to me? Then some people, when if they have an attitude about it, they're like, oh, you can look it up, Google, whatever. I'm like, well, you're the one that's providing your own identification for yourself. I'm like, it's not my job to go look up something that I'm just learning today. I'm like, you are obviously the expert of you, so you need to explain to me what you mean by how you're identifying yourself through gender. Because obviously I've never heard of that term until now. Yeah, there's like it's a bunch of them. It's a bunch of, I wouldn't say terms. It's just a bunch of names that are thrown out there that don't have a base in something. I'm like, to me, and for me, I'm not gonna change it. I'm gonna base it on two items. Okay. If you're a male or female, if you're masculine or feminine. You could be an effeminate male, you could be a masculine female. The rest of it, then you're dealing with sexual orientation, um, and then there's the, I'm trying to figure out, there's the other part that's kind of tricky too, and we've seen this play out in a video in a GameStop where person looks very masculine, so you get the pronouns that come with it, and if you mispronounce, or if you what was it, if you misgender somebody, all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. The way people identify with each other is 90% visual. That person in that video clip that was all pissed off and very aggressive because they were misgendered would have to look in the mirror and be like, 80% of you looks like a man. There are men that do wear earrings. There are men that wear pink. I don't know what's underneath. I don't see that. So don't freak out because I'm calling you he or she or whatever. I'm going by what I see on the outside, which is about 80% of where these pronouns come from. If you want to correct me, do it in a civil manner. Don't react and all this, like, I can't believe you did this. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm a man. I'm like, you look like a man. Sorry. That's what I see. You didn't tell me what your pronouns were beforehand. There's one person that I was spoken to about that, and there's one person that, where I used to work, where we had this conversation, and that was a cool conversation because she let me know right out the gate that she gave me the opportunity to understand what she expected from me as far as how I would refer to her, and it gave me an opportunity to understand that, oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna take the chance of misgendering, so I'm gonna just call them by their name. Every time I'm referring to them, I'm referring to them by name. Name is the safest thing you could say to identify a person. And if you focus on a person's name then if you focus on a person's name, you'll never go wrong. Because you can't misgender somebody as long as you call them their name. But at the same time, if a person does it gets misgendered or whatever, or misidentified, or whatever they want to call it, there has to be understanding that, hey, this person doesn't know me, so they don't know that I'm in transition. They don't know that I want to be identified, and take it upon that instead of taking it as a crime. Like, some people literally have gone bonkers as far as wanting to make misgendering a criminal act. Like, I was watching what's the name, Crowder Change My Mind segment. I'm subscribed to him because I like to listen to all sides, because I believe the bigger picture is when you hear both sides of the story, not just go on the one side view, and not look at things with this one-sided view. I tend to look at the bigger picture and look at both sides to get the overall view. That's why I'm not very religious, because one aspect of religion does not tell the complete story of religion or life in general, or spirituality. So But I was watching a Change My Mind segment about the genders, and it was one woman that was on there that literally was classifying, misgendering individuals as a violent act. I was just like, so you would want this person to be punished criminally because they misgendered you? That's extreme. That's a mistake. It's really a mistake that people some have. Now, you have people that if they know who you are and they misgender you, then that's obviously intent to maim or whatever, but that's still not a criminal act. So, well, it can become criminal if you feel harassed by it. If you feel harassed by it and that person knows that they're misgendering you, then that's different. But if they don't know, then you can't just, throw everybody under a blanket classification. And gender confused people are so sensitive about how they identify themselves that it usually escalates. Yep. Like the guy in the, I'm sorry, like the see, that's the thing. The thing that makes it difficult is that there's no time to adjust. There's no time to adapt. I was born in the 80s, and everything was simple. It was he or she. So what I would see, more than likely it was a he or she. Now if you see a he, may not be a he, or may not be want to be called a he or she or whatnot, and then it's just like, all right, one of the pronouns that some people in transition, they want to use the pronoun they. I'm just like, I'm sorry, but there's one of you. They means plural. So there's more than one of you? Are you trying to see? It would make sense if I were to think about it in this aspect. If I were to think of it as two in one, they, we, us, them. Person who appears to be a man but identifies as a woman. Okay, I get it. I get that part. If I'm looking at it in those terms. At first, I was thinking about it in one aspect, but now that I think about it, it does make sense to use they, because it literally is two in one. But that's some psychotic shit, honest. Just to be honest, I'm like, and I don't mean psychotic in a negative way. That it's just mental. That you literally believe you're two in one. But a lot of times we're not given time to think on multiple levels or think beyond the surface before somebody escalates the situation. And then all of a sudden you have social media where someone could be like, this person misgendered me, and then they post your picture up. They pretty much dox you by putting your picture up. It's no longer a person's name or whatever. You post somebody's picture and say that person misgendered you, or that person's either sexually harassed you or whatever. That's a form of doxing. I'm like, that person could have made a harmless mistake. Like this. Like one woman accused a little kid of sexually harassing her because he accidentally bumped into her, and it just happened. And he just happened to bump into her butt. It's a little kid. He doesn't know anything about sexual harassment. You know that That's just crazy. Let's see. We live in a world where anything goes. There's no standards or morals. The truth doesn't matter anymore. It's no longer you are what you are. It's you are what you think you are, even if you're not. Yeah. At the end of the day, people literally are saying you could be anything you want to be. That's, to tell you the truth, that was the term that people would do when you first jumped online. You can have any identification you want. But the real problem is that we don't know how to interact with each other, because the one very thing that humanizes us is that personal connection, the actual, oh, I see you, you see me, we're in the same place, we talk, we interact, we know how we react to one another based on our actual presence and conversation and situation. The one thing that takes away the human aspect, the human connection, is the internet, technology, social media. Those are the things that have taken away the human connection. You know, the connection these days that people have are soulless. So the fact that stuff could be happening to other human beings, but you know, we can logically, a person could through logic have no reaction to what goes on. I'm like, you have relationships that are soulless because they're constantly interacting through text or, you know. But video messaging is a little bit different because you can see the person. And I think that's the one thing. As long as you can see the person, you can see how they react, their facial expressions, stuff like that. I think the world has just become robotic. No, correction. I think the United States has become robotic, and how we, how we view each other. So it's really crazy. All right, so where we're at, what we're doing. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and get more nanite clusters for these things and get that. Let's see. Trying to see what we got. Yeah, that's true, and then to me, I feel like there's a natural element that's lost when you. There's a little bit of a natural element that is lost when you start out one way, but are completely under the impression that you are different. What the hell is? Oh yeah, that's right. I was supposed to be. Oh, I'm looking for oxygen. There was some over here. I just need to get to before this next storm comes in, because this thing is coming in quick. Hopefully I don't run into no poisonous plants. Alright, cool. See? Told you. Oh, God. And a predator. Yep, get out of there. There we go. I'm being pursued by a predator at the same time. Oh, okay. There you go. It was that thing. I would think that was a lion. Yeah, the whole gender neutral bathrooms, that they had to keep, to me, I feel like they had to keep the bathroom separate, because anyone can sit there and anyone could literally say, I'm in transition. Anyone could say I'm in transition. They could be dressed like they're in transition, but not be in transition, just to be in position to do something. If like a man dresses up like he's in transition to be a woman, go in the women's bathroom, could pursue voyeurism, could molest little girls, could rape somebody in the, I'm just saying, and vice versa. So when you make these bathrooms gender neutral, then it opens it up for stuff like that to happen. And I would say it's a small percentage of that chance happening, but you pretty much open whatever. There was literally just, I would say, 1% chance of that happening the way the bathrooms were set up before. Now you went from 1% to maybe 5% chance of that happening, maybe 10. So, and all it takes is one person. And scientifically, that's how you identify the two. I'm like, how you feel is not scientific, it's an emotion, it's irrational. I'm like, how you feel is irrational. What you think is scientific and it's logic based. So I think the balance is, I think there's there's no balance when it comes to logic and or science and to irrational and irrational thought. Right now is so much irrational behavior, irrational thought. So there needs to be more rational thought. That is true. Because you were born a man or you was born a woman to start. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you end up. Where you start is gonna is your base. Alright, so do I have enough to, no I don't. And I gotta find another one. Hopefully I don't run into any of those creatures. Good grief. Alright, and I gotta find it before this storm kicks back up again. Or there's this cave. Cobalt, stuff like that. Okay, good. There's more oxygen in there, but hopefully I don't run into that freaking creature. I gotta keep my eye out. And also be prepared to get back as soon as, oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff over here. Alright, let's go. That storm's gonna come up eventually. Actually, look. That's a good thing about getting there quick. Is that... Oh! Time to go. I saw you. Oh, that thing just disappeared. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know what was going on, but I had to jet out of there quick. Yep, because of you. get the hell away from there. Yeah, now. Yeah, you're not getting me. Okay. Jump in the starship. Right, I'm a 40 plus black dude. Can I identify as a 24 white dude? Can't identify as the owner of Walmart. Yeah, that's what I'm like, can I be a cat? Like, I like cats. I identify with them. I might as well. I'm a cat now. So I'm like, and I could see some. I could imagine somebody taking that. Oh, like that's extreme. That's ridiculous. I'm like, well, that's basically what has been opened up. I can be anything I want to. So someone could say they're God. Now they're not going to be looked at as they're crazy. They'll be like, do you? Which, to me, is not acceptable. I'm like, you have to identify something that you have to identify as something that makes sense according to science and within reason. Like, obviously, you're a human. Can't be a cat. Can't be a feline. You can't be other than that. So, all right. So, see, that's why I have to make sure. Okay. All right. Good. Got that down. Carbon. There. Was there something I needed? Trying to see, is there anything I need? Cargo. I got plenty of sodium. Oh, you know what? Change that into sodium nitrate. There we go, we'll do that. Alright, so that's gonna take a couple minutes to get back in this ship. Okay, I don't even know how long this stream has been going for. I think I'm gonna wrap it up in a few. Yeah, it's about 3 o'clock, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and end the stream at this point. You're probably sitting on it. So most remotes wind up sat on. I don't know. When I started this stream, it was like 12, and now I did a 3-hour stream. So I'm actually gonna wrap up the stream from here, and I'm probably gonna go to bed in a little bit. I need to get something to drink too. Probably nibble on something. But it was good to chat. Put them. So, but yeah, this week I think our podcast First and Frame Rate is probably gonna be on Wednesday. If I saw in the DMs, we're gonna be broadcasting live 7:30 on a Wednesday. So if you can make it, let your folks know. And then also, if you're still in contact with some of the old Simhead United crew, tell them to stop on through too. I'm like, it's funny. I seen MD pop up for a second. I'm trying to figure out who else popped up. I saw somebody else pop up too recently that I hadn't seen in a long time. That was part of y'all crew. I need to. I think if y'all want to resurrect yourselves, now's the time. Especially the way, and it's funny because you guys can resurrect yourselves and look at gaming, sports gaming as a whole, because everybody's engaging in the same shenanigans that just Madden was doing just a few years ago. It's just now everyone's caught up. So, but yeah, definitely peace out, and yeah, come on through Wednesday on VS channel, of course. I don't do any podcasting here. So thank you for stopping by, and the person that just joined in, I'm about to. Yeah, that's true. No need. So yeah, that is true, because you got countries that are banning loot boxes and these predatory practices. 2K now has unskippable ads that pop up as you're loading the game. And yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff. So, and then Google Stadia is probably the biggest. Right now, the way it sits, especially with the fact that they're selling their games, selling the games or access to the games for $60 on top of the streaming service. Google will fail on this one. So, alright then, well, I'm out. Thanks for stopping by. And again, just come on through Wednesday, 7:30 for First and Frame Rates. I forgot what episode, because somebody didn't make a playlist that I can go through, but we'll see. Alright then, peace.